The Glock 81 Field Survival Knife. I've had this particular one for about 10 years, and I haven't used it a great amount. I definitely have not abused it. Just from time to time, I use it to do things in the woods. And would I say that it would be a great survival knife? I think there's obviously much better options. And I think it's just because of the way that the blade is profiled. The thickness of this blade is 3/16 of an inch. It uses 1095 high carbon steel. It has a nice swedge that doesn't really make the tip that fragile, so that's good. But because it's so stout, the bevel has to drop so fast to the edge. It makes it a little bit less than ideal for woodwork or carving, for food prep. And to get a really good edge on this, it's a little difficult. It's not impossible, but you have to work at it quite a bit. And in most cases, you have to reprofile the secondary bevel. And so would I recommend this? Well, for around $30, it's just kind of hard to kind of be too critical about it. You know, it's a soldier's knife. It's being used by lots of different countries in their militaries. And it probably has a lot to do with the durability, but also cost. You know, a lot of militaries and government outfits are very cost conscious. And so I also have to say, though, that the durability of the handle, I think this is the same polymer that's used in the Glock handguns, is a good choice. You know, I don't see how you could even break the darn thing. And the same goes for the sheath. I think the sheath is made out of the same material as the handle. Very, very durable polymer. Has a very good, positive, secure fit in the sheath. I don't know what else to say that otherwise that you probably don't obviously see when you look at this. You can see that it's just built to last. It's about 11 inches long. It's just a hair over 7 ounces. They do make another model called the 78. Model 78 is just the same thing without the saw on the back spine of this blade. So that's what kind of makes it unique, is the Model 81, it has a saw. A lot of people say that it's called the root saw, but in the official literature, they don't really typically go in detail if it's a root saw or not. And in the past, I think I have a memory or two of it being referred to as a root saw from Glock, but in the updated brochures and advertisements for the Glock 81, I don't really see any reference to it as a root saw. I have to also say that there's a few other kind of hidden things about this knife and other variations than just the two that we see. The handle guard, or the hilt, or however you want to call it, there has a kind of a notch in it, and it can be used as a bottle opener. And there's also, it's a full tang knife, but there's also this compartment, or this, I don't want to say it's a compartment really, there's this kind of like a plug in the back of the handle, and you can actually remove that. I don't know how easy that would be. I never tried. I've heard that it's not that easy, and in some cases I've heard that it's even glued in, but you can take that out apparently, and there's some type of an adapter to be used as a bayonet. And so this is the other thing, though. There's actually two versions of the 81. There's supposedly like the civilian version that uses a higher Rockwell hardness. So they temper the steel a little different than the military does. And also the guard, the hand guard, is supposedly not welded to the tang in the military version, but it is supposedly on the civilian. So I don't know why that is. Also, there's supposed to be different proof marks on the military one, on the Ricasso area. So apparently there's, you know, a military issued version and a civilian issued version. Obviously, I have the civilian version, but it's interesting, you know, just to kind of read about that. And some of the knife forums were talking about that, and I don't even know where you would even go to verify that, but that's what they're saying. So that's just a data point to kind of consider. But yeah, I've used mine and it hasn't broken. It's just doing just fine. I even buried mine for 6 months, and it had very minimal rust, but you kind of have to watch this because it is high carbon steel. It can rust depending on your environment. Overall, You know, it's a pretty good size knife, not a super large knife, but when you compare it to other field knives, it's a little larger, typically speaking, by maybe an inch or two. So it's just kind of something to consider, um, you know, if you're looking for something that's compact. Um, I will provide a link in the description box and also in the comment section if you want to check this out on Amazon. They're not that expensive at all. This is what I would consider pretty much a high value field knife and possibly even a survival knife. There's a lot of soldiers that say that they prefer, though, the 78 over the 81 because when they baton with it, or if they're using it as a fighting knife, that they've basically the 81, because of the sawback, has sometimes injured the soldier. Maybe they've been misusing the knife, I don't know. But there's a lot of soldiers that just prefer the 78 because they don't have the potential for the injury as the 81. But I think that if you were to be prudent in your use, you won't have problems. I like the 81 because I like to have the option of a saw. I don't pretty much baton anyways. It's very rare that I would baton anything. So it's just another data point. If you baton a lot, look at the 78. And if you don't care about batoning, the 81 is your number. As always, thanks for checking out the video. Thanks for your ongoing support. I really do appreciate it. And once again, check out the description for links. You guys take care.